Call tonight's council meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Council members Vanaga, Brown,
Here.
Costello,
Here.
Jamison,
Here.
Knutson, here, Litz,
Here.
Staggers.
Present.
All members present. We have a quorum present for tonight's meeting, I should say. Tonight will be led in the invocation by Pastor Phil Tagg from Ransom Church here in Sioux Falls, and after the invocation, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. So at this time, I'd ask everyone to please rise.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to just come before you and call on your name for wisdom and for guidance. We do give this night to you. I thank you for the many blessings that we've had today, just with the incredible turn in the weather recently and all of that. I thank you for the recently returned troops, that they were able to get home safe, and we do pray for the many more troops who are serving overseas and even stateside at this time. And I do pray right now for wisdom in this meeting. We do seek your face for these leaders who have choose to place themselves in your service, leading this community. I pray that you give them wisdom and guidance. I pray for the upcoming elections and just for the results that would most glorify you. And we do just pray that you would guide every step of this meeting tonight in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have Sexual Assault Awareness Month in Sioux Falls, so Janet, if you come on up, Kiddams Lally from the Compass Center and Amy Carter from Children's Inn, so thank you for coming down tonight. And this is really, to me, an important proclamation. It reads, whereas 1 in 6 women will be sexually assaulted in their lifetime in the United States, and 1 in 33 men will be assaulted. Whereas the Compass Center has provided sexual assault intervention and prevention services for over 30 years in our area, serving 199 survivors during fiscal year 2009, and the Children's Inn has provided crisis intervention and shelter services to survivors of sexual assault in our community for 33 years, serving 259 survivors in 2009. Whereas sexual assault affects every person in Sioux Falls, either as a victim or survivor of sexual assault or as a family member, significant other, friend, neighbor, or co-worker. Whereas many citizens of our country are working to provide quality services and assistance to sexually assault survivors through staffing 24-hour hotlines, responding to emergency calls, and offering support, comfort, and advocacy during the initial reports to law enforcement, medical exams, and criminal justice proceedings. Whereas volunteers, paid professionals, survivors, and community allies are working tirelessly to promote the sexual assault awareness by offering educational programs to schools, churches, and civic organizations, as well as professional training to medical, mental health, law enforcement, education, and criminal justice personnel regarding sexual assault issues. Whereas wearing a teal ribbon will represent support against sexual assault. Whereas the voice of survivors offer us important insights into the personal pain and loss that victims endure, and are voices that deserve our county's attention and respect. Now, therefore, I, Dave Munson, Mayor of the City of Sioux Falls, do hereby proclaim April 2010 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month in Sioux Falls. And thank you, too, for what you all do for all of us. Really greatly appreciate it. Okay, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I so move, Knutson.
Knutson moves. Is there a second?
Second, Jameson.
Jameson seconds. Further comments, motions
Mr. Chair.
on the consent agenda?
Mr. Chair, I was just, I had a question, and maybe it'd be a point of order for the city attorney. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was looking through these items before the meeting, and I see there's a number 6 there, which, the proceeds go to a PAC, and do we have a precedent for doing that previously, or I don't know. I mean, it seems innocuous enough on first glance, but then as I thought about it, I'm not certain about it.
As far as that, I would say that these, I think, are put together by my staff, and there's no questions that I know that came up on it. I don't know if the clerk has heard anything about it or not.
Actually, Deborah Owen, and I do think that Tamara Owen is the one who coordinated that part of the agenda, and I'd like her to address that if you would. We did talk about that internally. So go ahead, Tamara.
Bob, it's acceptable because it's a political action, and that is covered under the state laws for raffles.
Thank
So we
you for
always
that.
investigate these carefully before we put them on the agenda.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mayor, I just wanted to publicly say, when I made the motion, I now realize that number 10 but it's not financial gain for me, so I'm going to leave the motion in place unless you call me out of order on this. But I just wanted to publicly say that number 10 on the consent agenda is my husband requesting permission to use the Old Courthouse Museum for our younger son's wedding on June 11th, and so if I should not make that motion, I'll withdraw it.
No, I think that's fine for what
Okay.
that is. That's not a problem. So we've got a motion made and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Further motions? If not, all in favor, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
All members present have voted, 7 yes, 1 excused. The consent agenda has been approved. Is there a motion to approve the regular agenda?
So moved, Brown.
Brown moves. Is there a second?
Second, let's.
Litz seconds. Further motions on the regular agenda? I see none, so all in favor of the motion to approve the regular agenda, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
All members present have voted. The regular agenda has been approved, 7 yes, 1 excused. This is a time we set aside for anyone wishing to address the council for public input for a period of 5 minutes. We just ask that they come forward and just give their name, and we ask that they just adhere to the 5-minute rule. And so if anyone wants to come forward, let them come forward now.
I didn't get a chance to sign in, but I'm Roger Algersma. I've mentioned before my opinions about the upgrading levees, and I seen this spring on TV that this guy shows that all the water was in the snow yet. When the snow had sagged down to about a foot, there was 4 inches of water in it yet. Normally, there's an inch of water for a foot of snow, so there was like 4 feet of snow worth. And then a few days later, we had 4 days in a row with rain, which melts the snow about as fast as you have any spring. So then, when I heard on TV that the river just crested, next morning I get on my bike, go on the bike trail, check out how full the levees are. We had a lot of snow this winter, melts real fast, which makes about the biggest flood in a short flood because all the water runs through at once. Well, the levees on the spillway were only about 1/8 full. It wasn't even up to where it's level, and then it wasn't even up to the levee. The bottleneck on the bridge by the bicycle bridge, the dam up there, could hold at least twice as much water. And the levees down by 41st Street weren't more than a fourth full. And so when we got way more capacity than we need to keep upgrading it, I mean, I didn't hear anybody need the levees upgraded until after Katrina. When we had our big rains in '04, you upgraded the storm sewer system, which was the right thing to do because that's where the problem was. And floods is something that, if people have experienced it, you can get emotional about it because it's a real nasty situation. Most of my ancestors came from the Netherlands, and they have dikes that hold the water away all year round, not just spring flood. And the last big group of immigrants, I've heard some of them in the late early 50s, the last time the dikes broke, 2,000 people drowned. And they says, World War II was pretty bad, but when the dikes broke, that was too much. Then we had to leave. So it's an issue that, once you've seen Katrina and seen levees break, that, wow, we've got to do better. But I think the levees were good enough already. When you're sometimes rated the best city in the country, it's because you did things, maybe even overdid a few things. But you're not top rated unless you put in extra effort already. And so I know the money is getting spent, but I asked Kermit because I'd heard he was for spending that money too, and I couldn't believe it at first. I mean, and then he was all excited about, oh yeah, the insurance companies wanted it. And my first thought was, now I know what a special interest is, but later on I realized that Kermit thinks on fear of the worst, and a flood is the worst, so he's for spending money if a disaster comes. But I think that if my point is, since it's already planned to spend the money, and a lot of it's spent, I have seen times when, this country, a lot of people have the attitude business does things better than government. But I've met people in government long ago already that were very good people wanting to do a very good job. And when people take advantage of government and make them spend money and they see they've been conned, the really good people don't want to have this happen again. And I've seen businesses go broke because nobody do business with them again. One, because only the government was doing business, and another, he said no bank will loan money to that builder. And so I think the insurance company that scared you made a wrong decision. Somebody in some office in some city seen Katrina and seen Sioux Falls had floods, so they wanted you to have bigger levees. If somebody conned you into the wrong thing, they got to be accountable. Or if everybody, citizens and government, gets a different insurance company, if we know who started this scare, I think would be worthwhile. Thank you.
Thank you. Others that wish to address the council for a period of 5 minutes? Come forward. Then we will move into the regular agenda at this time. Item number 29 that has been before us. We had the first reading in January of 10, and we had a motion made. Second, then we had a pending amendment that's before us at this point. So let's move forward with this item now. You're going to...
Item 29 is deferred action. Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the city by amending Chapter 15.5 fees.
Good evening, Mike Cooper, Planning and Building Services. Just to give a quick history of this item, since 1996, the city has allowed the exemption of building permit and inspection fees for certain nonprofit organizations that are involved in affordable housing or repair projects. And those included Habitat for Humanity, the Make-A-Wish Foundation, Repair Affair projects, and home modification wheelchair ramp program. These projects or organizations have typically been involved with volunteer labor or materials to promote affordable housing or repairs of affordable housing. There was a proposed amendment to this some time ago to expand those exemptions to include plat filing and plan review fees, and that generated some discussion by the council about whether or not we should expand the applicability of this exemption. And since that time, we've had not only additional deferrals, but we've had additional proposed amendments brought forward for consideration. And so my intent was to kind of step back and see what direction you want to go with this change. I'll just say that whatever decision is made by the council obviously is going to impact the revenue that comes into the city for fees. But again, the history of this has been that it's really been geared towards projects that involve volunteer labor or materials and promoting affordable housing.
Go Go ahead.
Yes, Mike. I just have a quick question here. Thanks for the past history of this proposal. But adding 3 organizations, St. Francis House, Union Gospel Mission, and the County Permanent Supportive Housing Project, is there anything wrong with trying to help the homeless here in Sioux Falls by giving these organizations that are concerned about the homeless a break here on these fees?
The St. Francis House obviously just completed, I think, an 8-plex or 4-plex apartment project. The Union Gospel Mission, I'm not sure that they've talked to us about any future building projects. We know that the county is moving forward on a potential project. Historically, the city has required fees from both the school district and the counties. The exemptions that we've had have been to the federal government. But the other issue would be that with the larger projects that involve more multifamily, there is a greater cost in terms of inspections, plan review, and there would be more fees that we would be losing as opposed to the habitat, single family, or the repair projects. Last year, we approved 7 housing permits for Habitat for Humanity, which was about $4,500 total in permits. For an apartment project, that would typically average about $300 minimum per unit. And so again, it would depend on the size of the project. But it also, as I said, the history has been that it's been really involving projects that have some type of donation, whether it's labor or materials.
So if I can ask you, you wouldn't anticipate then losing very much money from a proposed county permanent supportive housing facility or St. Francis House and Union Gospel, because you mentioned that, for example, the St. Francis House and Union Gospel Mission, right now they don't have any plans in the future for further expansion, so we probably wouldn't lose very much money there. But it would send a very good message here that, you know, we do support these organizations, these nonprofit organizations that are trying to be out there supporting the homeless. So we probably would not lose very much money this year in the near future, but in the future, if they want to expand, that would be good for us to help them out, to say that we support them.
With the county project, again, just on average, if you took 25 units times $300, that's a minimum of how much revenue would be lost on that. So,
Further questions, Mike, on that? We've got a motion before us to amend. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is my amendment, and I think this sends a very good message here to the community that the City of Sioux Falls wants to support these organizations that support the homeless, and we want to support the county here, too, to a limited extent. And so I think this is sending a very good message to the community that the City of Sioux Falls is going to say, hey, we're not going to be charging these fees to these nonprofit organizations in the county.
Okay, we've got this. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I spent a lot of time on this ordinance and the revisions that we've had on it, and Mr. Cooper's right about one thing. In the past, the tradition has been, if we've donated, if citizens of this good community have donated free labor towards single-family housing in keeping somebody in their house or getting them housing at a reduced cost, that has been the tradition, and that is the spirit in which this has been done. The 3 things that Councilor Staggers proposed for, I don't think there's anybody on this council that if they made a good case for it wouldn't come forward and we wouldn't give them. And incidentally, this council has the power to set the ordinances for raising or lowering fees. And I just remember here a while back when the county housing thing, Mr. Staggers was against any city money going to the county at that time, and now his recent conversion, perhaps he's seen the light or something, but the fact is I've looked this thing over, and I spoke with other councilors about it, and I think we need to get this thing moving because the Home Builders Association has a very good thing that's coming up. It's called the Repair Fair. And what they do is they build wheelchair ramps, they build doorways, They put grab bars in bathrooms and things like this to keep people in their homes a little bit later, a little bit longer, as long as we possibly can, because we think that's a good thing. And so I would request, I'm going to propose another amendment here, a substitute motion after Mr. Stagger's motion is voted on, and I would hope that I would have some support.
You want to wait? You want to wait? You don't want to wait till his
I'm going to
motion?
wait until
Okay,
yes.
we've got the motion. Go ahead.
And of course, talking in response to what Bob just said about the county facility, of course, many of us on the council had concerns about the very high expense for that facility. In fact, I think it's fair to say a majority of the council members, including the mayor too, were concerned about this. This is a very modest proposal, I agree. And I think, once again, it's sending a good message that to the citizens of Sioux Falls that we support the homeless. So those people on the council that supported the county in the past dealing with the homeless shelter, well, here's another good opportunity for you to support the homeless people of Sioux Falls.
Go ahead, Vern.
Just a question, maybe Deborah, you can help. So we can always have an organization come to us and ask us to waive the fees, correct?
Well, council has the authority by adopting, fees are set by ordinance, and so you have the ability to set policy on those fees as you are doing right now. You're choosing to waive certain fees. So you could certainly change that easily.
Okay.
It's up to you.
And Justice Amundson, with in crafting ordinance, isn't it safer to be broad instead of naming specific organizations?
Well, the best way to craft ordinances, Councilman, is so they aren't vague, so that they leave things. And when you say broad, it does leave some discretion in that. There's no clear-cut answer, but I would say that if you have the criteria set as to what it is, that makes it broader if you fit within it, without naming specific things.
Okay.
I don't know if but that would be my answer to that.
Because my concern is, one, if we get more agencies that want to come in and help, then we don't have them in here, or they change their names. There are a lot of problems, I think, with naming specific organizations in an ordinance. I would prefer to see it where each comes on a case-by-case basis, and we as a council decide whether or not to exempt them from the fees.
Further comments on the motion to amend?
Yes, if I can say, this is what we're doing on a case-by-case basis here. We're doing it early for them, but that's exactly what we have the authority to do as members of the Sioux Falls City Council.
Got the motion before us to amend the main motion. Go ahead.
This whole deal is really an attempt to help out some groups that really need help. And I think the trouble is there's just a long list of people we could add to this, and we feel bad for leaving any of them out. I think the intent was to help out a couple of organizations that are very small in nature. This is a small gesture to help this group, or these two groups. I'm just concerned if we step it up and add some more people in it that we're going to somewhat open Pandora's box and just add more to it. I just sense that this is a small attempt, as it was written, I guess, not the amended version that Staggers has before us. I'm just afraid of stretching too far and eliminating or not mentioning others that we all believe are probably very good organizations and would want to help in some way. But I like kind of like the idea of maybe bringing back an individual item for us to consider on an individual basis if we need to. I'm just afraid of stretching too far.
Got the motion before us. Substitute.
I have a question, for example, Shreen, if you don't mind. I see Shreen in the audience from Sioux Falls Housing, and I know that she's always working on housing projects for veterans. I believe you have a project coming up. For example, you're not included in this. As an agency director in the nonprofit world, is there a problem with coming to the council on those individual bases and asking for an exemption on these sort of fees? Sorry to pull you out.
We're currently not working on a veterans project. We applied but didn't get the VA money, but there are others, like Volunteers America did put an application in for federal funds. And so if they got that, they would be looking at a project for homeless veterans. I know the Salvation Army does projects for homeless veterans and have talked about maybe doing one in the near future. So I don't think it's a big problem for an agency if you have especially a big project going to come and ask for special, fee waivers. I would have some of the same concerns that were brought up, that if you start listing agencies, you're going to forget some, because there are some, like for the homeless, I think we want to support homeless projects, but there's others besides the 3 that are listed that are doing and will be doing projects for the homeless. So I think otherwise you're going to be amending your ordinance every single time someone changes their name or there's a different agency that comes along that's going to do a similar project. That's my opinion.
Go ahead.
Shireen? Yeah.
Kenny, do you have something first?
I was going to ask Mike a question, but since Shireen's still up here, if Councilman Staggers had a question for her.
Councilman Staggers.
Yes. You mentioned the St. Francis House and Union Gospel Mission and also the county proposal. Is there anything really wrong with kind of anticipating that maybe in a few years they might actually ask to do something like this and they don't have to go through this whole process of coming before the city council and asking and so forth? They could just go ahead and do the project. They'd know that before. They wouldn't have to worry about all these fees.
The concern is there's other entities that will be doing will be doing projects. Salvation Army already has a house for homeless veterans, and I know they've talked about maybe in the near future expanding that. And Volunteers America, like I said, they've put an application with the federal government for funding to do a housing for homeless veterans. So I'm just saying that there could be other entities coming forward doing the same type of things.
Sure, and we can deal with them at that time, right? Because it seems like we have a situation here, you can let me know if I'm wrong, where we're going to have Habitat for Humanity. We've already selected them, and we're not going to have them come back. And Make-A-Wish Foundation, we've already selected them. We're not going to have them come back. But when it comes to St. Francis House and Union Gospel, well, we haven't selected them, but we are going to have them come back. It seems like we have a lot of inconsistency here. Why not just get rid of this whole thing then and just have each organization come back whenever they want to have a project and go through this whole process of voting and things like that? So should we get rid of Habitat for Humanity and Make-A-Wish Foundation and so forth?
I guess that's up to you as a council how you do that. So I'm not.
Yeah, I was just wondering, what you thought about that.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand where you've got the original ones are ones that use volunteer labor or have volunteer materials.
Yeah.
I don't know about other projects if they would be volunteer or not. So.
I mean, I suspect St. Francis House uses a lot of volunteers too.
Yeah, that.
Let's move along. Anybody else?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Like I said before, the original spirit and intent of these exemptions was that free labor was donated by citizens to keep people in their single-family houses. That's where this thing started. The St. Francis House has already got their project underway. It doesn't look like the Salvation Army over there is going to have they've got a foundation, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do anything with that for a while. The county's thing is coming up. That's impending. But, to be pulling these things out and putting them up front right now, when they don't have anything that they need to do, I just think that it looks bad, and we're also going to, where do we draw the line at, folks? Where do we do it at? And, we've sat and messed with this thing for a while now. If somebody wants to, on this council, and I believe we should, wants to get something going here tonight, and then we pass criteria for qualifications for this, I believe that's a legitimate thing. But, folks, we fooled around with this thing for about 4 months now. The timing of these other amendments, to me, looks bad in regard to what's going to happen in a week and a half here. And, I just want to move forward. And a point of order, Mr. Chair, Mr. Staggers has a motion on the floor, is that correct?
Motion to amend.
And then, would it be proper for me at this point then to offer a substitute motion?
Substitute anytime you want.
Okay, then, Mr. Chair, thank you. I would like to substitute a motion that would go back to the original house cleaning amendments that Mike Cooper, the original ordinance that was proposed by Mike Cooper. And then I would also like at some time in the future that this council establish some criteria for advancing somebody into this arena as well.
So your motion is to go back to the original motion that we had on January 11th.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Can I do, pardon me, Mayor, can I do a point of clarification just to make sure we know? Just to make sure we understand what's going on with the minutes, if we could. To make sure we know what's going on with the minutes, if we could I just ask for some clarification? Is that the amendment that would, because there's 3 amendments out there, if you will, and then there's the original. Is that, has the independent living choices section
Yes.
in the ordinance?
Yes, that's
and
correct.
then the Section 3 added for the Fire Prevention
Fire
Bureau?
Prevention Division
Was that the
fees
purpose
they
of your substitute motion, was to incorporate that language?
Yes, it is.
That's not the original. That's not the original.
Okay.
You'd have to make a substitute motion that to add to what did you want to put in? Do you want to put in the fire prevention and what else did you want to put in?
That the Prairie Freedom Center is changed to independent living choices.
Okay. So that's your substitute motion then?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a second to that motion?
Second, Costello.
Costello seconds. So we're substitute motion. Everybody understand the substitute motion? Go ahead.
Yeah, what we're doing is basically status quo here. We're just saying, City of Sioux Falls, we're not going to add a new provision to this to encourage organizations that help the homeless. Basically status quo.
Okay. Further comments on the motion to amend? Go ahead.
Just a comment that I'm willing to support this, but I hope that as a council, next Monday, let's talk about assigning this to a committee to establish the criteria and go back and do this the correct way instead of naming specific organizations, because I just don't think that that's a wise choice. If we establish the criteria and then they can come forth and ask for the exemptions, I think that that will help us administer this in a much better fashion.
So you want to just study the issue because if this passes, this is the ordinance then?
As long as we come back to it and establish the criteria, I can support this.
Okay.
So basically, well, why don't we just go ahead and kill this whole thing now then? Let's just get rid of Section 15.5-6. Everybody's so concerned that we have specific organizations mentioned. Everybody's so concerned about that. Why don't we just kill the whole thing, and then, like Vernon mentioned, we can just have a committee come up with the criteria.
Good.
I think one of the reasons is because the repair affair program, you need that taken care of immediately, right, Mike? Because that group is ready to work. So that is why, right now, we need to take care of that group for sure.
Got the substitute motion. Go ahead.
And so we'll just go ahead and kill it all except for the repair. So we can have the time to go to committee to come up with the criteria. I mean, to me, since people do not want to have the St. Francis House, the Union Gospel Mission, and the County Permanent Supportive Housing in this, let's just kill it all except for that one exception.
We'll find out. We'll find out here in a minute.
That seems
We got the substitute motion that's been made by Litz, seconded by Costello. The substitute motion, everybody understands, and if that passes, then item number 29 has been approved as amended. So this will be the last vote. If this is approved, so all in favor of the motion to support the substitute motion to amend will vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
No.
Anderson, Jr.?
Yes.
All members present vote. Substitute motion has been approved. 6 yes, 1 no, and 1 excused. Let's move to item 30.
Item 30 is a second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending Appendix B of the revised ordinances of the city for zoning board of adjustment vote. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is a request by staff with support by the Board of Adjustment, to modify the voting requirements for passage of items. The Board of Adjustment is a 5-member board appointed by the city. Currently, there's four members are required for affirmative vote, and this ordinance would reduce that to 3, making it a simple majority to pass any item.
Questions of Mike on item number 30? Others that wish to address the council on item number 30? Not. Is there council action or discussion?
I move for approval.
Knutson moves. Is there a second?
Second, Litz.
Litz seconds. Further comments on the motion to approve item number 30? I see none, so all in favor of that motion, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson Jr.?
All members present have voted. Item 30 has been approved, 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 31.
Item 31 is an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at the northeast corner of South Minnesota Avenue and West 3rd Street from the C4 Planned Commercial District and the RA2 Residential District to the Sub-Area A Minnehaha County Courthouse Plan Development District. Petition number 2010-0106, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval.
This property is currently owned by Minnehaha County. It's about 1.2 acres in size. This amendment would include the property as part of the Minnehaha County Campus Plan Development District, and this would provide for the land to be used for multifamily residential or office or institutional uses.
Questions of Mike on item number 31? Others that wish to address the council on item number 31? Is there a motion?
So moved, Litz.
Litz moves. Is there a second?
Second, Brown.
Brown seconds. Further comments on the motion to approve? Seeing none, all in favor, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilmembers Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 31 has been approved, 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 32.
Item 32 is an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 6300 South Tallgrass Avenue from the AG Agricultural District to the C4 Planned Commercial District. Petition number 2010-0203, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This property is currently the location of KNWC radio studio, and this amendment would rezone about 15 acres of their property to allow future commercial development. This is at the corner of 69th and Tallgrass Avenue, so it is appropriate to allow this to be used in the future for commercial development. At this time, we're not aware that the radio studio has any intent to move, but we have been working with them on additional right-of-way for Tallgrass Avenue and 69th Street. And if they choose not to move, they would be allowed to still maintain a tower site with the expansion of the road right-of-way.
Questions of Mike?
Mike, what's the timeline on 69th and Tallgrass improvements?
Looking at 2011, 2012 timeframe.
And then the Solberg overpass?
That should be starting later this year and going into 2011.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
Yes, Mike, you mentioned the right-of-way. You're talking with them about that. Are we going to be paying them for the right-of-way?
They, when they were annexed into the city at their request, they dedicated additional right-of-way for the Tallgrass Avenue future improvements.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is an arterial street.
Yeah, well, that's, yeah.
Others that wish to address the council on item number 32? Seeing none? Is there
I
a
move
motion?
for approval of item number 32, Knutson.
Knutson moves. Is there a second?
Second, Litz.
Litz seconds. Further comments on that motion? I see none, so all in favor, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 32 has been approved, 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 33.
Item 33 is an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, a major amendment, petition number 2010-0102 to Chapter 15.45.070 Plan Development Districts at South Southeastern Avenue and Whisper Trail, allowing changes in land use as reflected in the revised sub-area map and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This property is currently owned by Brian Gruss with Envision Company. The property is just over 3 acres in size. It's located west of Southeastern Avenue between 57th and 69th Streets. This amendment would provide for the developer owner to construct up to 4-unit buildings on these lots. And this is
Question to
part of
Mike
the
on item
Whisper
number...
Ridge.
You done?
This is part of the Whisper Ridge development.
We're moving. Is there further questions of Mike on item 33? Others that wish to address the council on item number 33? Not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Let's.
Let's move. Is there a second?
Second, Jameson.
Jameson seconds. Further comments on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor of that motion, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilmember Benega? I'm sorry. Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 33 has been approved 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 34.
Item 34 is a second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, a major amendment, petition number 2010-0201, to Chapter 15.45.070 Plan Development Districts at 8,000 East Arrowhead Parkway, allowing changes in land use as reflected in the revised sub-area map and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is owned by Dr. Richard Cheddar. That's adjacent to the Willow Run Golf Course. It's just over 2 acres in size. The owner is currently working on replatting this property for future residential development. As part of that replat, the portion that's being requested tonight for a change in zoning is actually part of the Willow Run Golf Course. So all that we're doing is putting a golf course land use on this property to make it into conformance at the request of the property owner.
Okay. Questions of Mike on item 34. Others that wish to address the council on item number 34. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Let's.
Let's move. Is there a second?
Second, Anderson.
Anderson seconds. Further comments on that motion? I see none. So all in favor, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson Jr.?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 34 has been approved 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 35.
Item 35 is a first reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending Article 2 of Chapter 23 and Article 7 of Chapter 26 of the revised ordinances of Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Do you want to go through it, or I thought you talked at the information, you're going to put it back in committee? Is that...
Is it being withdrawn?
Yeah, we'd like to
You want
put that back to a committee, so do you need a
So
a
the
motion to
item-
defer it then, or refer?
refer to
I'd
what-
move
what
to
committee?
refer it to the Public Service Committee.
Second. Let's.
Costello moved, let's second it to refer back to public service, right?
Correct.
Okay, we
And-
got that motion for us. All in
And
favor?
maybe just for a point of clarification for everyone out there, that this is the alarm ordinance.
Mr. Mayor,
Yep.
I would just add that we will hear that in committee next Monday at 5 o'clock for anyone that's interested here at the council chambers.
Okay, it'll be referred for next Monday to public service. All in favor of that motion to refer it back, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilmembers Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
No.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson Jr.?
Yes.
All members present have voted 6 yes, 1 no, and 1 excused. It is referred back to Public Service Committee. Item 36.
Item 36 is a resolution appointing audit committee members to the audit committee.
Mr. Mayor, this is just a reappointment for 1 year for 2 existing audit committee members.
Others who wish to address the council on item number 36. Seeing none, all in favor, was there a motion?
Motion to move.
Costello made a motion. Is there a second?
Second. Let's.
Jameson seconded. All in favor of that motion, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilmembers Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson Jr.?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 36 been approved 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 37.
Item 37 is a resolution amending the 2010-2014 capital program to add a camera system.
Good evening, Doug Barthel, Police Chief. We're requesting to amend the capital plan by $10,700 to purchase this camera system. It'll be funded with the federal grant, and there won't be any city dollars used for this.
Questions of the chief?
I move for approval of item number 37, Knutson.
Second, Costello.
Costello seconds. Anyone else wish to address the council on item number 37? Got a motion made and second. All in favor of that motion, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Council members Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson Jr.?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 37 been approved, 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 38,
Item 38 is a report of the March 31st, 2010 Notice of Transfer of Appropriations within major organizational units.
be noted that that has been reported. Item 39.
I'd like to make a motion to reconsider an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, amending the revised ordinances of the city by revising Chapter 43, Vehicles for Hire, at the City Council meeting on Monday, April 12th at 7 p.m.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
Knutson
Knutson.
seconds that motion. So all in favor, what we'd do is we'd hear it we'd hear it on the 12th. That's what you'd have, that's the motion, that if we bring it back and it comes back to the council, that we'll hear it next Monday. So all in favor of the motion to approve the motion to bring it back and hear it next Monday will vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Council members Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson Jr.?
Yes.
All members present voted, 7 yes, 1 excused. It will be heard next Monday. No, that's it. Motion to adjourn.
I so move. Knutson.
Knutson moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Anderson. Brown seconded. All in favor? Vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
We stand adjourned.